Hi, Barb Hansen here with His Seattle training video number 3 about how to work with your team. And this is mainly for grammar moms, but if you're a logic mom, you can listen in because I am going to address some things with logic teachers as well. First, I'm going to read from Philippians chapter 2, verse 3. Do nothing from rivalry or conceit, but in humility count others more significant than yourselves. Let each of you look not only to his own interests, but also the interests of others. If you can keep this verse in mind when you're working with the other moms, you will be very successful. Because this verse is about loving one another and having humility and looking to others' interests, not just thinking about yourself. I have been in co-op for 15 years, and I have worked with a lot of women, and I have seen two extremes when it comes to working with teams. One is women who want to plan everything together and process everything together and talk about everything, and it just takes a long time and you don't make a lot of progress. I really don't recommend that. And then there's the other extreme of women. They want everything to be their way. They don't want to compromise. They don't really want to work with a team. And I really recommend that you not have either of these extremes. It's really helpful to compromise and to realize that you're in community and that we're not just thinking about ourselves, but we're thinking about what's best for all the children, but also what's best for the moms. And I think it's very helpful as a mom on a teaching unit to work together because you're sharing the workload. And that helps to reduce the amount of time that you're planning, but you want the team effort to save you time, not take away from your time. I don't recommend that you meet outside of co-op. Work it out. So it's going to be hard next year because everybody's all hands on deck. But if you can work it out that you can either meet during your lunch break, or if you can meet a little bit after co-op and just meet for 15 or 20 minutes right after co-op before the doors are locked up, or you get to lock up the door, so that you can talk about what it is you want to do together. Before you come together, absolutely, you need to have done your research, be thinking about your parent packet, and then come together and talk about, especially in grammar unit, the parent packet you can split up pretty much because they're the same pages and they're the same assignments. It's just the difference between beginning grammar and grammar is the amount sometimes of vocabulary words or great men and women, or that's about it really. So maybe timeline figures, but whatever, you need to think about who's going to do what. So you can get together, decide you're going to do this and I'll do that, and split it up. What you don't need to do at a meeting is discuss it endlessly how you're going to do it at home. You can just figure that out when you get home and not process it all right there, because that takes a whole lot of time. The better you can come prepared for a meeting, the more productive it can be. I've also found that in a team, sometimes it almost is better if someone decides that they're going to be like the secretary, they're going to kind of take a leadership role rather than floundering. Kind of decide together who of you wants to kind of lead and kind of discuss where you're going to go in the meeting, because it can be a lot more productive than you stepping over each other. You want to remember that you don't have to plan, like I said, the extreme. You don't have to plan every single week something together. You need to just decide when you meet what weeks you're going to do an activity and what that activity will be. And once you've decided the week and the activity, then you can decide who's going to do what to make that activity come about. That's a really important thing. For example, when we planned the Olympics, when I was teaching the ancients, we decided as a team who was going to be in charge of what game. Like the chariot races, we had a javelin throw, I think we had a discus throw. So we had like 4 or 5 different events. We all decided as a group who was going to be in charge of that activity. What I really recommend then, once you decided, for example, I had the chariot races, I didn't need to discuss with my team how we were going to pull that off. I had to just come up with that on my own and then bring the supplies to accomplish that activity. If you can do that, you will save a lot of time. I've been on teams where moms like to discuss how many glue sticks they're going to buy, what kind of paper, how they're going to cut the paper, on and on and on. They're external processors. And I'm not saying that's bad to be an external processor. It just takes a lot of time when you're on a team. And I'm trying to encourage you to be efficient and divide up your workload so that it actually saves you time instead of it takes time. That's why I don't recommend that you, if you can help it, meet outside of co-op very much, because those can become time suckers instead of being really productive. So my big encouragement is to be flexible, have humility, be willing to let go of your ideas, be willing to listen, brainstorm together, love one another, love one another, be community, help each other, teach the children, because it will be a lot of fun. I've been in co-op, like I said, 15 years, and I've seen women be brought to tears because of their team member didn't want to cooperate and consider others' interests more important than their own. I don't want this to be that kind of community. I want this to be a community where we really, really love one another and encourage one another to and spur each other on to help us educate our children. So this is the end of training video number 3, and thank you very much.